everybody. You know, sometimes people see this in the afternoon, the evening, but we do this pretty much in the morning. So good morning. I'm Anita Finley, your Zoomer Times TV host, and I am so thrilled always to have exciting interviews. And some of my most exciting interviews are with authors. I don't know what it is. I have so many wonderful authors, and one whom I've probably done more interviews on her books. She's a very special person to me now because I'm in such admiration of her. And you probably heard her name is Lea Hope Becker. And she wrote so many books, and we're going to have on this issue, on this particular interview, we're going to have her give us a summary of each one of her books. And she is really a comedian. She could really do Saturday Night Live stand-up, but a lot of her books are serious in a way, but she has this way of explaining what she's saying that makes you laugh. So welcome to our show, Lea. I'm so happy that you were able to take time away from your accounting business.
Oh, that's all right. It's a good time to take away from my accounting business. Let everybody get a little bit nervous because every year brings new nerves. And while I always get everybody, I send them a letter and, so get ready. And then they start asking questions and I answer their questions, but there is a lull. So we're on the lull.
Okay, so we're going to lull it a little bit here. Yep. Why don't we start with your very first book and why you wrote it? And I believe I have the book, and I think it's I see you can tell me, but I think I have it. Let's see, about staying married.
No, that's the second book.
That's the second. What was the first one?
Well, the first one was called "I Promise to Keep Quiet After I'm Dead, Maybe."
Oh, right. I didn't. Okay, I didn't pull that one up. Okay. Well, let's start with
that was a very short book. It was a small book, and it was my debut book.
Right. And what made you want to even start writing? Here you have a prosperous accounting business, and you're having a married wife, and you have children. What happened that you thought you want to write some of this about, and most of it was about your family?
Okay. Well, first of all, I was in journalism school at Northwestern University back in the 50s, but I dropped out. And whatever it was, my mother said, get thee working, because I was pouting. So, and if my mother didn't say that, I don't know. I suppose I'd have eventually stopped pouting. So I got a job for a lawyer, and that led to my getting interested in law. And the writing fell by the wayside because I needed to make a living. I went through a couple husbands, but that's a long story. But I had always in the bottom of my psyche somewhere felt that I got to get back to writing. But it takes a long time to get back to writing. And I did get very much involved. I had a couple of jobs for lawyers. And then I opened up my own practice, and that was fine until I wrote a letter to my now husband, who had become widowed. And then I moved out of Illinois, blah, blah, blah. But now I got time, but I kept the tax business. Some of my clients just wouldn't let go of me. I found out that a lot of accountants, once they're happy, once the clients are happy, they want to keep you. They don't like to make changes. So I had this, so more years went by. But when I reached age 70, I have to just do a little asterisk here. The new book, which we're not talking about now, is called Think Yourself Young. So I've thought myself young because while writing the book, I got younger and younger. But that's another story. But I thought, gee, I'm age 70 on the calendar, and I never got back to writing. And what am I going to write about? I'm egocentric. So I started writing about myself. And I decided it had to be funny. I designed a book cover by myself. And I showed it to my husband because he's a retired animation artist and a book designer. I showed it to him and he goes, "Oh, good grief, you can't do that. Don't use that cover." So I said, "Wait a minute. You never wanted to get involved with this writing thing." He says, "Oh God, what's your title?" All right, he goes in the other room, out comes the cover that was there. I think I have, if you don't have the book handy, I do have it.
No, I don't have the first book with me. No.
Well, it's on Amazon, but it's not with the other books. My daughter's working on rearranging things, and so is my new publisher. But it's got a picture. It's really funny. I don't know if I could put my hands on it easily. Well, it's a picture of an old man and a woman, and he's got the earphone, the old-fashioned earphone, and
Yes.
she's blabbing, her mouth's wide open, and it's funny. But it wasn't edited. It was my first attempt, and I sold quite a few books. The second book is what you have, which is I Promise to Stay Married This Time. And you have that in your hand, is it?
No, I have it on, I have it, I pulled it up. I don't have it in my hand.
All right. So, well, once I got started, I had to keep going. I was having fun.
Right,
So,
I see, well, the picture, of course, I have it, I don't know if it's gonna show,
yeah,
but it's the picture of
and that
their
would be, that was on the right of your four, yeah.
Yeah, that was it was very romantic.
And the reason,
Let me just stop you for 1 minute and just say
Okay.
that, I don't know if you all caught this, but not only is Lea in the accounting business, but she's also a lawyer, but she uses those skills because when she writes, to be an accountant, lawyer, you have to be very disciplined. And she is disciplined, even though every other line is pretty funny. So she's been blessed to have all those abilities put together. And I think she sees things in a very comical way, no matter what she's doing. I'm surprised she hasn't written anything about accounting yet, but that'll probably happen. But the most important thing that I remember when we talked is that she did use her family, and her family was not happy at the time. Please don't write about me anymore.
those were my children that said that, and my
Right.
husband. But my two boys never read my books. But my daughter was very interested in, and by the way, I don't know if there's time to talk about this. My daughter has now become an author also, but she's writing on different stuff. She's not writing funny. She's writing serious stuff.
Okay, well, runs in the family then, but that's great. Well, you've been a great mother, but you've also had quite a few careers. So this is and so how many books does it make it? 6?
This would be, Think Yourself Young is the 6th book. It just got on Amazon, and there are 5 books. If you type my name or the name of the book, you get 5 books. And the other book, I don't know, I had a different printer, and I don't know, they put it somewhere else. It can be accessed, but there are 6 altogether. And they're all humorous.
Yes. I know you couldn't do anything other than that. The 6th book will be our book of the month for April. So I want you all to wait for that because she has so many things. The one that I really loved, although I loved them, but The Husband Who Kept His Wife Fat. I did bring this book up because Lea, as all of us, has always tried to lose weight. And I don't know if she was 10 pounds overweight or whatever she was. And her husband just got tired of hearing about it. And so they made a deal. Why don't you tell them about that and what happened?
Well, I would say that he got bored of me going up and down, and I got fed up with it. And I have a new poem that's going to be in the new book called "Is My Clothes Closet Too Small or do I have too much stuff? And there's
Good.
some funny stuff about that, because what happens if you're a yo-yo dieter is you got to have 7 sizes of this and 3 sizes of that. And if you're a person who tends to keep things and not give them away, they start crowding out each other.
Yep.
So I got so fed up, I decided to just rethink how I ate. I really did. I read a couple of books. I listened to you. By the way, we had one very, you wouldn't know this, but there was one of our interviews where you were on, you had some kind of a special snack bar. And that day, I didn't exactly do that, but I did something else that worked. And I lost about 17 pounds, and now I can fit into my clothes. And I got to tell you this, my closet hasn't gotten worse. That's the best I can say. It hasn't gotten worse. So,
But I really do, I admire you, because it's very hard to admit that you're overweight, and it's hard to know. And you're talking about the Smart for Life bar that I had, and with all those things, I went up and down the same way as you did. But to tell you about COVID, I don't know why, but I have lost about 35 pounds, and I've not been on a diet. It's been, I just don't go out to eat. I don't have pizzas. I'm working in the morning. By lunchtime, I forget. It's been amazing over the last, probably maybe since December, January, something. I've lost this weight, and I mean, I am in things that I couldn't ever wear. I had them put away. I had forgotten about them. I was going to give them away, and now I can wear them.
well, I know that's a good feeling. And I got some clothes in my clothes closet that are waiting also. And once in a while, I look at the stuff that's still hanging there, and I say, "Gee, I don't have anything that goes with this anymore." But to really start doing major cleaning, it's getting closer up on the list. But meanwhile, I'm still doing tax returns. I'm doing more writing than ever. And I'm doing some, I'm still on a writers group, and I'm also treasurer of the National League of American Penwomen Boca Raton branch. I may have mentioned that to you, and that's more to do. And I have 3 children, 2 of whom call me all the time for advice, and
Wow.
one of them calls me every day for advice he hasn't taken yet. So it's financial advice, because but I found out one thing: children do what they're going to do.
Well, they have a great mother, and I can
But
understand that.
there was one question I didn't ask. I didn't answer on that book, The Husband Who Kept His Wife Fat. There
Right.
are concepts in that book that
Yes.
do have to do with me. I never accused my husband of making me fat. So it's like a metaphor. But if he wants to eat out, well, now we're just doing curbside. But I want to be a nice wife. I don't want to say, no, honey, I'm on a diet. I can't do it. So I'll go, and he is one of these people who magically stays the same size no matter what he
Amazing.
eats. Of course, he exercises 5 times as much as I do.
That's it. That's
Don't
the
come,
thing.
no, that's not fair. And he's a man, he's 8 inches taller than me. And that's not fair. Nothing is fair. And when nothing is fair, you just have to adopt a philosophy. Guess what? It ain't fair.
Okay, but Lea, you have to sit down to do tax returns. You sit
Yes.
a lot. That's the whole thing with that. So
Right.
people who don't have to sit, see, do you have a dog? Because I walk my dog 3 times a day, and that's made a difference too.
Okay, well, we don't have a dog, but almost every day I walk my husband. We go outside. We go outside we have a gated community, and the streets are wide enough so that somebody's coming towards you, because we're not wearing masks. They haven't they haven't done the mandatory mask, for stepping outside yet.
Uh-huh.
So we don't wear masks. So we want to stay like 10 or 20 feet away from who's
Right.
coming. We don't know everybody. And we're walking. And so we walk about, I would say, 10 minutes to get to the water where the birds are. And then we walk about 10 minutes back. And then it's my turn to start doing work in my office. But he's retired. He rests for 10 minutes. He's my age. Rests for 10 minutes. And then he goes out and walks 45 minutes.
Yep,
and he
that's
does
it.
other exercises. But before I have a knee replacement. And before I had that done, he bought a stationary bike. He put it in our living room, which had no room for a stationary bike. No room at all. Okay, we don't have a family room. So we found a way to put it between the sofa and the patio door. And because it looks strange there, I call it a sculpture. Now, when people used to come in the house, I'd say, oh, this is our new sculpture. But I exercise every single night, half hour, and he uses it too. And it is wonderful because they closed the gym, rightly so. And I think some of the other exercise I get is, unloading the dishwasher, reaching for plates, things women do. Things.
Right. Well, I don't want to run out of time because you do have some extra wonderful books. So let's talk about what is the other book that you're extremely fond of. I mean, because you have to choose. You have so many, but the one. Well, let me tell you one I loved. It was My Name's Not Robbie Anymore, because that was funny, but on a way it was serious. It was all those people who were in the closet and who came out. And you did a great job on that, Lea.
Thank you. I had to do research for that book. People that write nonfiction always do research. And some of the best nonfiction books, it takes the author years. I only had to research the places that would tell me why people decide to change their sex. Mm-hmm. And I did. But that book is already, I think, 4 or 5 years old. Things have progressed. But I did do research. But because I write humor, I had to think to myself, how can I write a book like that on such a serious subject?
Right.
Without making it offensive or controversial. So I had a sort of a procedure. I would make the parents had to make them very distant in the locality from the son that became a woman. And I made him 42 years old because he was on his own. And the husband had to be a right-wing, absolutely straight line. People don't do that sort of thing. And the wife was into psychology, open-minded. So there was a banter between them. And I had to also make a funny situation because when he let his mother know that he had already done the job, she didn't know, first of all, where'd you get the money? Well, it turned out that the sister was very successful and she gave him the money. So he had the whole operation. And I had to make something amusing in this book. So what I did is made a close family that the cousin and the aunt and uncle, very close, were giving a wedding, and they asked the son to stand up for the groom. And they got together and said, what are we going to do? This is a Jewish wedding. It could have been any kind of wedding, but it was funnier with a Jewish wedding because I know more about how Jewish people do funny things. But they had a secret. So what were they going to do? And I don't want to tell too much about it, but it's a riot.
It is.
And then there's stuff happens after the wedding, and I don't want to give too much away, but I put in some family stuff that I thought could be unoffensive. And I tested it out because I have gay clients on both sexes. I have gay females and gay. So I tested the book before it was published on each of them. And the only one that did, and they, I had 2 gay women and 1 gay man. And the 1 gay woman who did some editing for me because I didn't know all the protocols, she didn't like the cover. But the other woman, she loved the cover. And the gay man was crazy about it. So I sold more of those books than any other book.
Oh, right. Well, because there are so many people, and I think gay people would appreciate it. They didn't have to have a sex change. They just could appreciate it because in their mind they changed. They didn't have to maybe go through the sex change, but it was very powerful, very powerful.
Yeah, well, he did, and I know that I read a lot about it. There's books coming out all the time.
Of course, now especially, you wrote this early, but at the time,
yeah.
So now this is a big issue. A lot of things have have changed. But Lea, we have a couple of minutes left, and
Yeah.
I can't, and I have to just admire you so much. And I know you're involved with a lot of other writing groups, which is good because you help them, I'm sure, more than they help you. But you really are inspirational. And I'm sure your husband is very proud of you because he's really now a part of your writing because he has the covers. And without a good cover, people don't even pick up a book, unfortunately.
Well, at least I don't have to try drawing my own cover.
That's true. That's true.
And Lea, okay, we're out of time. I just wanted to say,
go ahead.
When he decides what to put on the cover, I say, don't you want to look at some of the material? No, just give me the title, he says. All he needs is the title. And there's the cover. That's what he does.
Well, because your titles are very good. Maybe that's quite a compliment to you that he can take a title and then if any of it isn't exactly right, then you can critique it. But listen, we're going to have you back again, especially for your book of the month in April. And we wish you so much good fortune and we thank you always. And please remain safe. That's the most important thing.
Thank you very much. The feeling is mutual.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, everybody. We'll be back with another interview.